What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Parrot Press. It's time to take a new step, a step in a new direction in my Sorare journey, because predominantly I've been focused heavily on the MLS, all right, which has now turned into kind of, well, they're incorporated into the Challengers competition, but it's coming towards the end of the season. So what do? Now, in the past, I have had a couple of cards which has got me over the line or through the next few months. But I want to go in a different direction. So what did I do? Let's talk it through. Champion. That's what I was looking at. I was looking at the competition as to, so we're looking at the classic ones at the moment. And I was looking at the rewards for that, because with the new champion competition coming into play, and obviously with the split with La Liga, Bundesliga and Premier League, etc., I think that it's going to be easier to win a prize out of champion, because people are going to be playing these top cards, the Mbappes, the the Haalands, the De Bruynes, all of these in different competitions. There's multiple places that you can play that card. Now, what you can argue is, well, there was multiple places last season when it was All-Star, etc. But the rewards and the kind of prize pools are more enticing this year, or I feel anyway. And I was looking at this and I was thinking, do you know what? I enjoy the Premier League. I enjoy European competition. Let's start crafting some of these cards or putting them together. I can't use crafting because we've got Essence out there now. But let's start having a look around, having a scout to see what I can pick up and whether I can, compete in this champion competition. I started to do that. All right. I picked up cards like Pedro Porro, Kramaric, etc. And I was looking at some of the bargains in Liga, because there are some top players still from a Sorare standpoint in those leagues, by the way, in Syria and in Liga, some top players. And I think that obviously there's only one place that you can play those guys unless they're under 23, and that would be in Champion. So I started to do that. I started to pick up some of those players. And then I looked a little bit further and I looked into Champion in season, and that seems great, right? In terms of £3,000, you finish fourth, you're still getting $1,000, should I say, not pounds. And it looks great from an in-season point of view. So my journey would be picking up some of the classics, hopefully trying to win some of the in-seasons, deciding if I want to strengthen my classics by selling the in-seasons, or if I can pick up some pieces to actually step into these competitions. And then I run a poll on Twitter, and I haven't got it up at the moment, or X, whatever you want to call it. And I said, what are people focusing on? Premier League, Bundesliga, or La Liga? And La Liga had the least percentage. And it made me think, do you know what? Let's take a look at this. Maybe Champion, for me, isn't the right place to be playing. Maybe it is in one of these specialised leagues or competitions. Because I'm not prepared at the moment to be putting in another few £1,000s into this game. I'm not prepared to do that. So my expectations are already less than what they would have been, because when I play my challengers lineup, and let me get that up. So when I play my challenger, here we go. So some of these players like Ayama and Evander, Stefan Fry in goal. We've got, you've seen all of these before. We've got Forsberg, we've got another Evander, we've got a Brooks Lennon, a Messi, Di Maria, an Otamendi, a Ricky Puig, a Pansel, a Rossi, a Wagner, Insigne. When I put these in a lineup, I'm actually expecting to win something. And when I'm kind of looking at these new prize pools, I'm not expecting to win anything. I'm actually looking forward to doing the scouting again, picking up some pieces, learning a league. And I went back on some of the things that I've learned in my Sorare journey, and that is play the leagues that you know. And if you don't know it, then go out and learn everything about it, right? So that you can get there. And I started looking at this, and I started to think, do you know what? I think the Liga is going to be the spot for me, because it's the same. If we look at Classic here, it's the same prizes basically as the Bundesliga. And it's very similar prizes, or if not the same, as the Premier League as well. So if people are focusing on the Premier League, and obviously their prices are a lot higher than La Liga, I just think there might be a little avenue in there. might be a little position there for me to get some of these big cards or even the kind of mediocre cards, because if you look at some of them, I've loaded up all my players. So I'm going to talk about them in a minute and actually get to the point. But if you look at some of the player rankings and stuff in La Liga, you've got a few smashers, but they're not all smashers. You know, a Real Madrid stack all season is going to do okay for you if that's where you want to play, but it's not the be all and end all in the Liga. And you can argue that across any competition. I get it, but I think what puts people off is, if you need Barcelona and you need Real Madrid, and if you haven't got them, you can't win nothing. You know, you can't win anything. That's actually not true. So I started to pick up some more La Liga players, went back and sold Porro, sold Kramaric, sold a couple of the others that I picked up. And I'm going to take you through it now. So, first one I picked up was Goalkeeper. Now, again, in my head, I've not gone out there like I did with the MLS and I'm just buying the big guns. I'm actually going out here and being a little bit more smarter with my money, but also with my kind of realism, I suppose, in terms of what I can win, what I should be winning, what I definitely can't win, those type of things. But I picked him up because if we look at his scores, you'll be able to see the prices on screen, kind of what I'm picking him up for. But there's quite a few greens in there. You know, goalkeepers, they're your entry point. Obviously, you must have one. And a goalkeeper isn't going to be scoring 100 every week. A goalkeeper isn't going to have a chart like for me, like an Evander, who literally is scoring 80 plus for the last something like 12 weeks running or something silly like that. A goalkeeper's a goalkeeper. So I picked him up for hardly next to nothing. And I also went and picked up his second, like the number 2 there as well, for literally half the price, or if not a third of the price, what a big gun would cost somebody like an Oblak. Now, I know there's arguments for and against that kind of theory, but again, I'm not looking out to go out and spend thousands and thousands on La Liga. I'm actually looking at crafting and being smart, scouting, picking things up, setting the right lineups and seeing what can happen. Because when the Challenger season comes back, I'll be heavily in that on a classic point of view anyway. So I picked up his number 2. So this is the Celta Vigo goalkeepers as well. And when he plays, it's not amazing, but again, it's another goalkeeper. Not great, but it's another goalkeeper that I can plug into a lineup. Anyway, so I've got those 2 in, handcuffing. I've then picked up Jasper Cillessen. Now, he's just come back to La Liga. And the goalkeeper at Las Palmas, so Alvaro Valles, actually wants to move to Real Betis. And I don't think he's played any of the preseason games. So they've brought in Cillessen, I believe, to be the number 1 there. So I've picked him up. You can see down here for 0.0196. Fairly cheap. Another, hopefully, starting goalkeeper that I can plug into some lineups into the La Liga competition. And again, he's still, it's not amazing. I get it. And there's actually in Serie A and Liga, and there's some top quality goalkeepers there that a lot of this is green for, maybe double the price of Cillessen, but half the price of some of the big boys in the Liga. And that's if you are, little voice crack there, but that's if you are focusing on the champion side of things, because obviously that's the only competition that you can play them in. But anyway, he comes in. So I've got 2 starting goalkeepers, I believe. I've then brought in Adrian because Real Betis are in Europe this season, and I do think that he's going to get a few games here and there, and I think that he is going to be their number 2. So if anything happens if Valles does come actually over and they sell their goalkeeper, Rui Silva, because he wants to actually be going back to Portugal, and Porto was potentially interested in him, but they need to do some business themselves to actually get Rui Silva in and for him to be a number 1, etc. If not, he's potentially going to stick around. But I think that there's going to be some rotation in there, and it's going to allow me to have a little bit of extra utility. Now, listen, he's not a lot of money at all. What did I pay for him? Let me just change this to pounds, because obviously with the ETH crash at the moment, like £13. I might be able to use him 2-3 times throughout the season. That's fine. It's a backup for me. So they're my 4 goalkeepers. And then we're moving on to my defender. So this guy I think he's going to be really, really good for me. You can tell here that he's been playing in a more advanced position for Spain in the Olympics, and he's been doing really, really well. That's his midfielder card. Let me switch that to defender, and that boosts stats right up in terms of his stats. So obviously they've signed, this is Real Sociedad player, by the way. He's just come over from Man City, and he's got a defender and a midfielder card, but I wanted the defender card because Real Sociedad are okay at home, and that extra 10 points here and there is going to really help. And you can see what he can do up here with these green scores. All right, it's not in La Liga, but I think that he's going to be really good. Now, it remains to be seen whether he's going to be kind of filling in for Moreno when he moves to Arsenal, or whether he's actually going to take that left back spot, because Real Sociedad have signed another left back in Javi Lopez. So I don't know whether he's going to be playing in centre mid, whether he's going to be playing as a lamb like what he's been doing for Spain at the moment, and if so, defender playing kind of a left winger or a left attacking midfielder, that's going to be superb for me. So I didn't mind paying the extra money for him. And he's already getting me some returns because I've got a lineup this week in a cap 240, which could potentially win me a really good card as well. So Sergio Gomez comes in. Real Sociedad have got European football as well, and I'm hoping to play him a hell of a lot this season. The other one that come in is a La Liga legend, or a Valencia legend, should I say, Gaia. And he's been struggling with injuries a little bit, but if we just look at all of his... and we focus predominantly on Valencia in La Liga, and we take away all his DMPs, etc. There's a lot of dark green scores in there. He's just coming back from injury, so let's see what happens there. He would have made the Euros squad for Spain if he wasn't injured, and who knows, he might have even been playing over Cucurella as well. But I think that at 29 years of age, it feels like this guy has been around for a long, long time, but capable of these type of scores. I rate that, I back that. So Gaia comes in for a decent price as well. The third defender that I picked up was to go with that Celta Vigo stack. And again, if you've been following the channel, if you're not, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, etc. Go and check out some of the other content. But I normally stack a goalkeeper and a defender. So I picked up this guy. And this guy, maybe people have not really heard of him. I certainly didn't. But again, there's a few green scores in here, and it makes sense for me to go in with the Celta Vigo stack. Now, when you actually break down and you look at some of the stats in here as well, he does very, very well in terms of, he's got a 42 AA there, a 40 AA, a 35 AA. It remains yet to be kind of seen where he's going to be playing exactly. I'm assuming it's going to be right back, but as you can see here, he's played left mid, right mid, centre back, right wing back, forward. He's played all over the place. So I think that he's going to be cementing a position down in, whatever position that he plays in, but I think he's going to be cementing that down at least. And I think that he's a good option in terms of his interceptions, his tackles. He gets in amongst it as well. And again, for that price, picked him up, and it's a good stack for me. Now, I need to pick up some more players, by the way, but that's the defenders that I've got so far. Now, moving on, sticking with the Real Sociedad kind of theme, along with Sergio Gomez that I brought in, we've got Bras Mendes. So he's been around the La Liga for a little while. He takes some of their set pieces at Real Sociedad as well. And again, with that European competition this season, I'm hoping to be able to play him in some of the midweeks as well. I don't think it is amazing. I think that he's going to be better this season because he's going to have some new signings around him. But he's capable. He's capable of those dark greens, and that's all I kind of care about, is getting up there in those 80s, and he's capable of doing it. It's just not regular. But going back to what I said at the beginning, I'm actually not expecting to win week in and week out. I'm playing this for half fun, but obviously half for a return. I want to progress. Of course I do. But I know that I haven't got, at the moment, people like Gundogan, people like Vinny Jr., people like Nico Williams and all of that. I know that I haven't got those in there at the moment, but I think that I can still do something with the players that I'm bringing in. moving on, Carlos Soler. So you can see there it's PSG, but he's actually making his way over to Real Sociedad as well. So whether he's going to slot in as that centre midfielder position and take it from Moreno, who's going to Arsenal, as I said earlier, I don't know, which means maybe Gomez goes further up the pitch, and that would be a lovely little stack there. Now, when he was playing kind of regularly, let me just go to all here and let me go to Valencia specifically. There's a lot of green in there, and it's not all decisives. There's a lot of decisives in there, but he's still capable of a 25, a 14, a 13, a 31, a 33, from an AA. So he can kind of do a bit of everything and get me in those 80s. That's where I kind of want to be hitting. So him coming back to this league, it's not actually a done deal yet, but I think that they're nearly there from what I'm reading on Twitter and that at the moment. But I picked him up straight away, and obviously you can see there a few other people did as well. But I think that he will do very, very well back in that league, starting again. Even when he's only been coming off the bench or just starting in the odd games, you can see here that he's getting these green scores, and that's exactly what I'm all about. So Soler comes in. I'm probably butchering some of these names, by the way, so forgive me. But Isco comes in as a big name for me. Obviously he was at Real Madrid for a long, long time, and he's just coming back from injury. I think he joined the lad today for his training, so I'm hoping he's going to be in there for that first game, although there's a little bit of a weird split at the moment. There's only a few teams that are playing in game week 501, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to put a team together there. But what you can see is that since he went to Real Betis, he's done very, very well. Taking like all of their set pieces, he's their kind of talisman. He's capable again of that AA, and with a guy like that, I'm more than happy about plugging him in. I think that he's going to have hopefully another amazing season with Betis in Europe as well to get some good utility out of him. Just hoping that he stays fit. And to go along with him, we've got Nabil Fekir, and I picked up the forward card for him for a decent price actually, because if he gets back to where I think that he should be from a Sorare standpoint, because I think that he's got a really good AA for a forward. Have I got the midfielder one on? Let's put the forward one on. You can see there it kind of creeps up a little bit. Obviously, he had a really bad injury, right? And he's had a bad time. But if he can get back to this form, I know it's if, buts, maybes, etc. But he could be a little bit of a surprise package. And to go along with Isco, if they start playing together, which a manager did say last season that he was going to experiment with, and I don't think he's done too much of that at the moment, but hopefully they can get a gig together and start doing some damage. But again, for that price, it's good depth, even if he's not starting week in and week out. But the guy that there's a couple of guys actually, but the guy that I'm really excited about is a 37-year-old Iago Aspas, because as a forward in La Liga, he's one of the best. He's one of the best in terms of he takes all their set pieces, he scores regularly, he assists regularly, he's got great AA, and he plays for that Celta Vigo team as well. So I'm kind of getting a little stack there from Celta. But yeah, I'm excited to watch him this season. He's got some decent fixtures in the opening 5 or 6 games. Alaves at home, Villarreal, Osasuna. It looks decent, really. All right, a few tough games there, but it looks decent. At least they're all at home. I think that he could have another great season. So Iago Aspas comes in. Another forward that comes in is Carlos Vicente. Now, I heard about him when he was playing in the second division over at Spain, but since he's been at Alaves, so Deportivo, since he's been there, when he started, let's just take away those sub appearances. When he started, he does well for a forward. Again, he takes all of their set pieces. He's capable of AA. When he gets 15 AA and a decisive there, he's up in the 75s. And he can kind of do that regularly in terms of his AA as well, just looking at that. So I think he's a little bit underpriced at the moment. I don't know if he's got a midfielder card. I don't think so. But yeah, no, I don't think he has, but just check that if you are thinking about picking him up. But as a forward card, if I just show you all, obviously it's not all in the in La Liga, it's in Smartbank as well, but there's still some solid scores in there. So I'm looking at playing 3 teams in the Liga when I get there, and he'll be playing in like Team 2, Team 3 some weeks. I doubt that he's going to make Team 1 when I've got Aspas there, and I've also got this guy, because I went and picked up Antoine Griezmann again in my club. I don't know whether it's a third time or whatever. Let me just see if I can see in here. Well, you can't. I must have traded him or done something. It'd be interesting if I could see. All right, I sold him here for 0.7 and I picked him back up for 0.05. Bit of a big difference, right? A bigger difference. But I picked him up for a really good price, because I think the guy that I bought him off either won like the new season or didn't win it, but bought the in-season one and then wanted to sell this one. So I picked him up for quite cheap from what he's going at now, £150. And the last 2,000, and it actually went 3 days ago for very similar. But in terms of ETH, obviously we've had a little bit of a change in terms of ETH. You can tell there that it's been, it was quite low. It's basically the lowest it's been for God knows, maybe ever. I don't know, maybe ever. But bringing in an Antoine Griezmann at 33 years of age, where I think that he's still got another season or two in the Liga, but I know that he wants to move to the MLS anyway. He wants to get out to America. So if he goes there, he sticks around and becomes an absolute animal out in the MLS. So I'm happy to own him now, focusing on the Liga. I know that he's going to stick around. He gives me international, he gives me European utility as well. So having him, I'm excited about. And what that does, they're the cards that I've kind of picked up so far. You'll be able to see them all now kind of in my gallery. And I do need to pick up some more. I know that. I need to probably pick up one of the premium goalkeepers eventually when I get there. There are a couple of other goalkeepers that are mid-price that I'm keeping my eye on, but with that Sergio Gomez stack, maybe it is the Romino, if I've said his name right, at Real Sociedad. Maybe that just makes the most sense, and I'll have to fork out for that. I don't know, but there are some. I've got a watch list going on at the moment, which is quite intense, and there's some amazing cards really for so cheap at the moment. But what that makes it look like is, if I was to come into game week 504, it allows me to do something like this. If we've got Silicon there, or Guaita or whatever, or Villa, whoever plays in there. Say we went Silicon, we've then got Sergio Gomez in there, which again I think is going to be a fantastic card as a defender. You can have Isco in there, I can have a Griezmann, and I could potentially have a Brais Mendes in there as well, or maybe an Aspas. And when you look at that team, that's a team that can still do significant damage in that competition. Classic, I know. I've got to build up some of the XPs and I've got to do that sort of thing. I get it. Maybe pick up some really cheap players to boost the collection bonuses as well. But there are teams that can win some cards in there. If I can grind out tier 2s and tier 3s and start selling them and start clawing some of the stuff back and, reinvesting it into some of those classic cards, or making my way, as I said, into La Liga in season as well, because the prize pool for some of this, the prizes in here, $2,500 for first. All right, it's in Division 1, but even if you go down to Division 3, say that's where I'm actually playing, if I can claw out $70 here and $70 there, it's pretty much going to recoup what I've paid for this squad quite quickly. And obviously with the cards that I'm winning and potentially selling from Classic that I'm not even keeping for in-season as well. I think that it's a smartish move, but we'll soon see. And what that kind of also means is that because I'm not really selling some of my Challenger Classic teams, it still gives me really, really good strength. Going to the same game week, that 504, all of a sudden I'm getting 8-9 lineups out, which I've never really done before. It's kind of been around the 5 or 6, and I'm only got like 2 strong ones out. But when you can look at this, I've got Challenger in season going on as well, so that can kind of fund some stuff if I can win some bits in there, which I think that I can with the likes of Steve Clark and Yeimar and Evander and Pansil and Acosta. That is a superb lineup that could win at any given time, in my opinion. I've got some great XP on there as well. And I can have 3 in-season lineups, and I can have 3 classic lineups as well, because I'm not really planning on selling any of these, maybe apart from or he's not even in there. The Evander Classic card that I've got, that's not the in-season version up here, but yeah, the classic one, potentially to fund some other pickups. But it puts me in a strong position, and I'm actually looking forward to European football. And not only that, I said that I was having a decent game week. So only a few lineups coming out, because obviously the League's Cup, you can only play cap modes and All-Star, but you know, I might be able to claw something. If Melia keeps a clean sheet, I could maybe get a tier 4 out of that one. If Hector Herrera has a really decent game, I could potentially claw a tier 3 out of that, because he's captain as well. And then lastly, I don't know if I can get anything out of that, can I? Potentially might be able to get a tier 5 if Clark keeps a clean sheet. But this is the one, because I can win another $80. You know, let's call it, what is that, 65 quid or whatever, that's going to pick up another couple of cards for La Liga. But I've got 2 more players to play here, and I could potentially get, you know, even if they scored 50 each, I'm looking at a tier 3, I think. So I'm excited tonight. I'm going to probably stream a little bit of that when I kind of wake up with kids and all of that sort of stuff throughout the night, when I'm feeding my little one a bottle. I'll have my phone in there and streaming the Houston or the Sporting Kansas City game. But yeah, that leaves me, you know, I'm excited now about the European season, because I'm going to have some midweek utility. I'm going to be playing La Liga. It's going to open up me winning different types of cards, different sort of strategies. And yeah, I've decided to focus heavily in one competition, in the La Liga competition, see what I can do there. With the likes of some of the players with Isco and Griezmann and stuff that I've picked up, I think that I can win a little bit out there. But as I said at the beginning of this, the main thing is that I'm not expecting to win week in and week out. I'm here to enjoy the game, and hopefully I can just craft some things, get some essence, get some boxes, get a little bit of luck along the way, and start building up my European gallery, and try and make it as strong as my challenger gallery, my champion gallery, sorry. So yeah, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you think that I've made the right moves or the wrong moves or whatever, you've got some players that I should be buying, some players that I shouldn't have bought, leave a comment down below. And as I said, if you like this video, hit the like button. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the future.